All right, I think I hear the bell ringing. I think class is about to start. We'll go ahead and get started. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today, and welcome to the Office 365 session, New Innovations for Collaborative Classrooms. My name is Yusuf Sajes. I'm a product marketer for Teams Education, and this is my colleague, Michael Leshika, who's a principal program manager for Microsoft Teams. So to give you an overview of what we're going to cover today and what we hope you guys get out of this session, we're going to start a little bit on Microsoft Education and our commitment to this space and how we see this moving. Next, we're really excited to show you guys Microsoft Teams and talk more about it. We're going to focus on some classroom and there you go, so you can see what I'm saying. All right, we're going to focus on some classroom scenarios and campus scenarios, kind of fixed in higher ed, but also can be applicable through K through 12 as well. Next, we're going to have a really fun demo that's going to feature some really interesting partner integrations in store for you guys, and we'll go through the scenarios too. We'll move on to talking about collaboration across Office 365 education, how Teams kind of fits in that context. And then finally, we're having what I call a Q&A mixer. We're back to school, so we're going to have it right here in front. So you can save all your questions, your ideas, your feedback. It's really valuable to us. So please join us at the end of the session. I brought some team subject matter experts. Can you guys raise your hands? There they are, Rana and Kira. And we'll be happy to talk to you guys individually and take in that feedback as well. So we live in a really amazing time of technological progress. And the lives that we live and the lives, especially as students today, is being disrupted by digital transformation. So Microsoft has thought of how do we respond to this? Well, first is building a platform that is simple to set up and easy to manage, affordable and kind of customized to meet the needs of a diversity of stakeholders, be it teachers, staff, higher ed students, and K through 12 students. And so with that, we then sought out to say, what are the different platforms and what are different products that we can build to meet this audience? And our main goal is to make products that grow with students, starting in K through 12, going onto that journey of college and higher ed, and then the same tools and skills that they have at that point to enter the workplace and to be fully equipped for the jobs of tomorrow. This would really help us with our mission of empowering students today to create the world of tomorrow. So we're going to talk a little bit about that third pillar today, modern tools for classroom collaboration, and that brings us to Microsoft Teams. So Meet, or for many of you guys, Meet Microsoft Teams, the hub for teamwork in Office 365 education. I want you guys to think about Teams as that physical instantiation of Office in one hub. But before we get into Teams, I want to take you back to understanding why we brought Teams into education and how and why we've customized it for EDU. In thinking about building tools that teach those 21st century skills for students, parents, and educators, we want to really bring ourselves and root ourselves in workplace trends of the future. Over the past few years, there's been such an increase in collaboration and teamwork in school and in the workplace as well. People are on 2 times as many teams as they were 5 years ago. Collaboration has increased 50%, be it if that's meetings, emails, calls, or chat. And the world is becoming more globalized, contingent workers and geographically redistributed teams. And for the first time, we have 4 different generations at work with each other, with post-millennials coming soon. And each generation has different needs to meet for collaboration and communication. So what is that product? What is that hub that can speak to everyone and have everyone working together? So that brings us to Microsoft Teams, the one hub bringing meetings, notes, conversation, files all together. And we deliver on 4 key promises and pillars for education. The first being starting with a fast, fluid, and organic mode of communication, like chat, video, and voice. Things that students are really naturally exposed to and interested in, using GIFs and emojis, sending what we call ephemeral messages to peers and their educators. Next, we have the built-in access to Office 365 apps. So all the student favorites like Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Sway, even Power BI are built in to the Teams interface for the users to enjoy. Next, we know that groups are really diverse and really different. This product is going to be used from staff to staff, teacher to teacher, student to teacher, and because of that, we've made Teams easily customizable and extensible. We have a number of partners that are growing, and schools can actually create their own third-party apps. And we'll be talking about that and showing you that later when Michael joins us on board. And then finally, you'll come to expect the enterprise security and compliance that Microsoft will provide. So moving on to that chat, video, and voice and giving you a glimpse of that today, we provide a modern experience that supports not only persistent, but threaded chat to keep people engaged and organized and keep them going. Team conversations are open by default, but of course there's private one-on-one chat you can do as well, or in small groups. In classroom teams, teachers have controls to make sure that the learning environment is inclusive and safe. And we've enhanced the meetings feature as well to sync with your calendar so you can know when someone is away, when someone is free, and it makes it really easy to hop from a video to go to voice and then go to chat. So there are a number of features here in our conversation mode that feed into students collaborating with each other. Moving on, we have that built-in Office 365 apps. So let's say there's a student organization just down the street, one of these colleges here in Central Florida. And a student has just gotten out of a student org meeting. They have their notes in OneNote, and let's say they open a Word file and they put that in the Word file. They save that onto their OneDrive or their desktop or some other saving mechanism. From there, let's say that they open up their calendar to organize the next meeting, input people's emails, click that send. They take the Word doc, let's say they send that to the student exec board for review. They hop on Skype or a chat platform to get suggestions for the next meeting. And then finally, they grab their phone to post a funny message on GroupMe or the student org distribution list to kind of hype up student attendance and awareness of the group. Now, how many apps did I just name and how many clicks did I just go through? Like a lot. It's a lot for a very simple student scenario. And it's actually my scenario, because I was just in school a few months ago at UVA. And so with that, imagine one app and one click. That's it. It opens everything up. It gives students the option to kind of do whatever they need to be doing, and it allows them to use whatever device, be it either laptop, their desktop, their mobile, Windows, OS, iOS, Android, wherever they are, whatever they use, just one app and one click. So now, as I mentioned before, the diversity of needs from teachers and administrators and students today is growing, with educators choosing between different LMSs that they would like to integrate, or different either bots or connectors as well. So we've made Teams really customizable and extensible. And as I mentioned before, schools can actually build their own custom apps into Teams in any of those categories that I just named. But if your school doesn't build their own app, there's no need to worry. We have a number of partners and applications. And here you'll see a snapshot of some of our many existing and upcoming partners. And to bring our users a variety of customizable options, we're continuously working with numerous educational partners. We'll love to actually talk to you guys more about that. These partnerships give our users the perspective on all of their work without having to leave the Microsoft Teams interface. And then finally, Microsoft Teams benefits from the Office 365 hyperscale enterprise-grade cloud, delivering advanced security and compliance that you guys rely on for Microsoft. Now, before we get into the demo and show you guys really what we want to demonstrate here this morning, I want to underscore something about Teams. Teams is designed for education and the way that students, staff, and educators collaborate together, be it if it's in the classroom or outside the classroom. Education customers can have 4 different types of teams to choose from when creating experience. So first, you have your class teams. Those are for your classrooms with teachers and students collaborating, using school data sync to easily auto-populate your rosters, and having Class Notebook on board for file sharing and easy collaboration. Next, you have your professional learning communities, or your PLCs. And that's a great way for teachers who are ongoing year-long professional development. And for higher ed scenario, it's great for professors who are in research peer review, especially with guest access. Finally, third, you have your staff teams. And that could be staff from any department across the school, across the organization. It can be used to streamline communications, work on a project, work on a task, that sort of thing. And then finally, you have your anyone bucket, and that's kind of the catch-all. That could be from teacher to student to staff. It could just be one kind of demographic, and that's the kind of team that the students would use for student orgs. So now I'm going to pass it off to my colleague Michael, who's going to take us back to school and show us how Teams could be used for educators, students, and staff.
Okay, great. Can everyone hear me now? Yeah, that sounds like perfect. So let's restart that from the beginning. So let me take you around a quick tour of Microsoft Teams. What we're looking at here is the Windows client for Microsoft Teams. We also have an OS X client as well as a web client, and we support all the different mobile platforms. So no matter where you are and what device you're on, you're always able to access all your different teams. For the purposes of this demo, let's assume that I'm an MBA student, and let's take a look how I'm going to use Microsoft Teams at various aspects of student life at a business school. So what we'll do is we'll start on the left, and we'll work our way to the right, starting with what we call the app bar. At the very top, we have the activity feed. Here is where I'm going to be able to see all of my different notifications that I may have missed and so forth. These notifications can be generated by people replying to maybe a discussion that I started in one of the channels, people explicitly mentioning me, or liking my message. There's lots of other ways that these notifications get generated. Clicking on one of these notifications, such as this app mention, deep links and takes me directly to that channel and discussion. I could see what's happening there. These notifications can also be generated by third-party applications that are integrated with Microsoft Teams. So any service that's trying to get my attention for something important, they're able to plug right into this activity feed here. Next, we have chat. So we understand that we truly do believe in open and collaborative communication, but we do understand there's a need for private one-on-one and group discussions. So the chat portion of Teams is where that happens. Here, I can also have one-on-one discussions with bots, such as Schooler. So in this scenario, let's say I'm a teacher assistant for one of the courses, and I'm helping a professor with logistics of that course. So one of my duties for that course is obviously making sure that I'm staying up to date and grading the assignments, returning them in a timely manner back to the students. So I can use the Schooler bot to very quickly ask if there's additional assignments that are pending for me to be graded. And I think the internet connectivity is a little slow, so it's coming back. And you can see right here, the bot came back and said, hey, you're up to date, there's no assignments, there's no students pending to receive their grades. Next, we have Teams. So this is where I'm able to openly communicate and collaborate with other students, teachers, school leaders, and administrators. In this case, I have 4 different teams that you can see I'm a part of here. The top 2 are what we call class teams. And then for the top one, that's where I'm the TA for that team. For the marketing strategy class, that's where I'm enrolled in as a student, so I have a team to represent that. And then I have a team for a student club, an administrative team for the School of Business, where I may be involved with school leaders, potentially designing and evolving the MBA curriculum for future students. Each of these teams, as you can see, has a set of what we call channels underneath them, kind of hanging off of them. Channels are basically a way to organize all the different discussions that team is going to have. As a team owner, I'm able to create these channels and really organize and structure the discussion in any way I like. So we don't enforce, other than the general channel, we don't enforce any other channels to be created within a team. So let's take a closer look at the entrepreneurship seminar that I'm a TA for. So you can see, in addition to the general channel, I decided to create 3 channels and structure the discussions around group projects. So I separated the students into a bunch of groups and create channels for each one. Now, to the right of the channels and teams, we have what we call the main canvas. This is, the canvas is actually contextual to what is selected, right? So in this case, this canvas is for the general channel for the entrepreneurship seminar class. As you can see, as I just scroll up a little bit here, there are lots of different discussions that students within the class are having amongst themselves, right? There's an article that's been posted and they're having discussion around that, and lots of other various threads. As I scroll, I could see these red indicators on the right side. That basically tells me when a channel's been mentioned. So you notice here that the general channel's been mentioned. What that means is that everyone there will get a notification. Or I see another indicator here, the @ sign. That basically means that, as you can see, I've been explicitly mentioned in this thread conversation. I can interact and participate in all of these discussions in many various ways. Like I mentioned, one way is to quickly like a message. It's a great way to kind of give a very quick indicator to somebody like, hey, I've read your message, I understood it, and maybe it's going to take me a little while to actually do the follow-up item. Of course, I can reply back with text. I can include stickers that can customize GIFs and emojis, right? So I can really be as formal as I'd like or informal. Next, I want to show you how we bring in third-party applications right into the channel discussions. So here I've actually used the SurveyMonkey bot to poll the class and ask them when would they like me to hold the next review session or office hours for the upcoming midterm. When the students saw this poll, they went and voted, and it looks like the evening session, or an evening session is something that they would prefer. So I can go ahead and schedule that office hour. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to mention and the entire channel in here and tell them that the office hours are starting soon. So let me go ahead and do that. What that does is everyone will get a notification saying that I've posted this message. And then, so now let's say I want to actually start this virtual office hours with the entire classroom. One of the things I'm going to leverage is this Meet Now functionality within Teams. What this does is it actually creates an open meeting within this team. So anyone that's part of this team can join this meeting whenever they'd like. So let's take a look at what this would look like. So I click Meet Now. I'm going to turn off the camera because I don't want it to going up my nose the entire time here. Let me put in office hours, and let me click Meet Now. So what you'll notice here is in this general channel, there's this camera icon. That's an indicator to the rest of the team saying there's an open meeting or a Meet Now happening right here within this channel. When a student then clicks on that, they'll see like, oh, there's an office hours happening right now. Now you can imagine kind of have the camera up. I can be doing screen sharing. I can be using a pen on my laptop and working through formulas or whatever it is that I'm helping them with, right? As students can come and join whenever they'd like, so they don't have to stay there for the entire meeting. They just click join, get their issues addressed, and they can leave. And I, as a TA, will stay there for the hour that I've allocated for the office hours. And then once I'm done, I can just quickly end and hop off the call. So next, I want to draw your attention to the very top of the canvas here. Along the top, we have what we call tabs. Tabs are a great way to bring in rich content and assets right into the conversation. And these could be first-party tabs that are integrated from other products of Office 365, or it could be third-party applications as well. So I'm going to show you some of these and what they look like. The first one is files. So files is basically a way for me to quickly upload and share and collaborate on documents for this channel, right? No longer do you have to remember what's that SharePoint link that I need to go to, where's that file related to these set of conversations. They're all right here along next to the conversations. Next, we have Class Notebook. This should look pretty familiar for you because this is no different than a standalone product. Now, because this team was created as a class team, we automatically provision a class notebook right in the general channel for you. Next, as a TA, one of my responsibilities, surprisingly in business school, is taking attendance. So I can use the school attendance tab to quickly make sure to check off who's attending class and who isn't. Another responsibility of mine is obviously assignment distribution, collection, and grading. So again, I'm going to use the Schooler Assignments tab here. So it's a third-party integration that we've been working on. And I can see the list of assignments that I've distributed here. And then clicking on it as a TA, I can go ahead and go through them and mark them once they have been submitted. Of course, as a student, I would see a slightly different version where I would be able to upload assignments and so forth. Lastly, I want to show you another third-party application that we have been working on, which is called Flipgrid. For folks that are not familiar with Flipgrid, it's basically a way I'm able to propose a topic of discussion, and students are basically then encouraged to reply with quick video clips around that topic. So one way I can leverage as a TA is say, hey, I want to ignite this collaborative community for the quarter with the rest of the students, and I want everyone to get to know each other a little bit better before the class starts. So one way I can do that is ask for basically introductions and ask everyone to go ahead and submit introductions. And you can see these characters are definitely giving me trouble this quarter, it looks like. But it's a great way to kind of kick off the quarter as a TA, right? Next, let me switch over to, let me check over what's going on with Project Group B here. So as a TA, I want to kind of check in and see how their final project is coming along. Are they in the right track, and do they need any guidance? So I could see that one of the things that they've done is they've created a project planner tab. What that allows them to do is to track all of the different tasks they need to complete in order to submit the project. So they're a very well-organized group. They also, I'm also seeing that they're having a discussion between should the final deliverable be a PowerPoint presentation or a Sway document, and trying to make that decision. So one of the things I can maybe do is click on this PowerPoint presentation and see kind of how their final deliverable is shaping out to be. Right? Are they on the right track, or do I need to provide some guidance? If I want to see what kind of things that team is discussing while still looking at this PowerPoint file, I can actually click on Show Tab Conversation here. And what happens is the discussion that the group is having, I can see it right here along with the document, right? This conversations thread to the right is actually available for any tab, whether it's first or third party. So you can get that by default. So let's say that I have a few concerns for this group, and I want to provide them a little bit of guidance. Obviously, I don't want that to be an open meeting. I want that to be a private, closed meeting that I have with the group. To do so, then, I would just quickly click on Meetings. I would schedule a meeting here. I would add the different team members and then have that meeting with the group. So next, I want to just hop over to the speaker series channel under the Business Club here. So again, you'll see that the students are, or the club members are discussing things around where do we hold these events. They have past speaker series that have been uploaded for maybe students that have missed, or things they want to discuss. And they're also planning upcoming events. So one of the things, again, with the introduction of guest access to Microsoft Teams, what I've done is actually went ahead and added the upcoming speaker as a guest to my team. And you can see that with this indicator here. All right, so it says basically this team has a guest now. And again, I can then go and leverage the Meet Now functionality and hold this virtual event with my guest speaker as participating as part of the team. So scrolling down now, I want to quickly show how I go and create all these different teams. So in order to do that, I will go ahead and click Add Team here. And there should be a button here. There we go. And hit Create Team. So I could see, as Yusuf alluded to, there's all these different types of teams. Whether I'm an educator, a school leader, administrator, I can go ahead and create the various types of teams that meet my needs. Let's say for the purposes of this demo, continue with the MBA student. Let's say I've joined a new club, and I want to go ahead and create a new team for that club. So I'm going to select the fourth option here, the Anyone team. Let's say it's just a tech club here. Hit Next. And then you notice already at the back here, the club has been created. And next, what I have the option to is add the different team members here, right? So I can add a team member, select if they're going to, and once I've populated that, I can now select if they're going to be a member or an administrator of that team, and then click Close. Of course, I can go back and add additional members later on. So with that, that concludes our very quick tour of the product, and I'll hand it over back to Yusuf.
All right, awesome. Can you guys hear me okay? Great. Thank you, Michael. Thank you for demonstrating for us how teachers and educators and the like, I'll just stay just right here, how teachers and educators and staff can use Teams in the different scenarios that you saw. As you saw, it's fairly intuitive, it's very dynamic, and it's a type of fluid model that students are accustomed to. So we talked a lot about Teams and a lot about how Office 365 comes to life in Teams, but I want to touch upon briefly before we go to our Q&A mixer, how collaboration can work across Office 365 education. To demonstrate this, I want to show you this graphic and walk you through how I think about using Office 365 education and Office 365 at work. Teams is that digital hub for collaboration with the people that I like to call my inner loop. So the people that I work with on a regular basis, that I need information from, like Michael, people that I make deliverables with, like this above, people that I need to get access to, and people I need to collaborate and actually create things with. Yammer is more about that broader access. So it's about people that I like to call my outer loop. It could be across my organization or across organizations, and it's more about search and discovery and figuring things out. And then Outlook is more of that right size kind of communication tool for long form communication, perhaps is more formal in nature. And so with that, Teams does an amazing job of really having that collaborative element. Gone are the days of getting 100 emails that say, sounds good, thanks, and thumbs up. And all of that is now accomplished through Teams, and the information that you really need that's rich can be in Outlook. And also, you can email one of those channels that Michael showed through Outlook, and then in Teams, you'll get that email in rich formatting with all the attachments, all the flags and whatnot in Teams as well. So that's our other mode to kind of communicate across. SharePoint, how SharePoint comes into this is that Teams is built on foundational pieces of SharePoint. So for example, when you create a file in Teams, it automatically syncs to your SharePoint site, which allows you to do file co-creating, uploading documents, things like that. And Office 365 Groups kind of runs across this entire spectrum. So that's some of the ways that we think about using Office 365, not only within Teams, but across the board as well. So you weren't going to get away without a little bit of homework. And so here's some things that we want to suggest to you guys on how to get started next week when you guys travel back home. So first is identify 2 to 3 pilot groups. Reach out to those faculty or teacher departments or staff departments to identify users. One of the pilot teams could actually be yourself and your own department. Do you have Teams champions? Teacher leaders and power users are often excited for stretch roles and excited to evangelize new products to help their peers learn and teach others. Next, pick one project. This might take a little bit of brainstorming. Ask pilot teams to pick a project or task that they can collaborate on together and accomplish. Commit to doing 100% of the work in Teams. This includes file sharing, file editing, chatting, meetings, calls, and more. And then assess and provide us feedback. Observe where Teams satisfies your requirements and where it doesn't, and then send us feedback in product. We wouldn't be on this journey without you guys when we develop this product. You could check out Office 365 User Voice for feedback, and the Microsoft education community is really awesome and super dynamic and rich with a lot of community access there and with tips and tricks and hacks. You could always also go to successwithteams.com and Fast Track for more of the deployment and manageability help and support. So with that, I want to thank you guys so much for being here at this session. There's been such great energy about education at Ignite and Teams at Ignite, and I know you guys have questions and feedback and ideas. So please come join Michael and I and Rana and Kira right over here for a quick Q&A mixer. Thank you.